Justin, when I toss it over to you, we are live. All right. Well, that tells you how much that I am a little bit of rusty coming into this event as we got rain in the forecast. And just like the Tin Man, I need a little oil applied to bring me back up to speed. But we are live here from St. Pete. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gatto. Welcome to Velocity Online Racing's coverage of round 9 and 10 of season 15 of the Velocity Online Racing Signature Series, the IndyCar Championship, as we come to you today from the streets of St. Pete for the inaugural running of the Grand Prix of St. Pete. But they're not necessarily a Grand Prix, I guess, but we got the sprints of St. Petersburg. As you heard in the behind baseball coverage as we were coming into this, I am being joined by the czar of the iRacing broadcast booth, the great Justin Prince, so that's why he's great, and I'm just your standard issue commentator. He does not make mistakes like this. But Justin, we are now doing qualifying. Tell us about what you're seeing out there, and welcome to the program. Good to have you back, as I missed the last race at Richmond, and we're off to our last road course race of the season, round 9 and 10 here at the streets of St. Pete's for the very first time.
Yes, indeed. Instead of Sebring, we're at one of iRacing's newest racetracks. In fact, just came into the last build. It will be a dry qualifying session to start from St. Petersburg, the streets of St. Pete, as well as the runway of its airport here. It's the first time iRacing has had this track on the platform, and it's going to be an interesting challenge. This track is going to be one where a lot of people will have to learn quickly how to handle it if they want to perform well and be able to qualify well, especially if you want to start in the front. 22 different drivers qualifying for today. Julien Altena, along with Brian Fiolas, alongside Len Vogelsang, Amon Lau, Lucas Santos, Liam O'Sullivan, John Stellard, Mateus Strauss, along with Mariani, Van Gutist, and Jack James are all supposed to be a part of Group 1 for our qualifying format. These drivers are going to have a challenge, to say the very least, Gary, to make sure they are good to go on said track.
You read my mind coming into this. I was going to say, you need to tell me what groups everyone is, because I'm not sure what everyone's groups are in, but we have ourselves a championship points battle here with just 3 races remaining, with Julien earning his career win number 16, third all-time at Richmond. He was able to creep closer to our points leader and his teammate Liam O'Sullivan, but a mighty uphill battle is still to be fought with a 38-point deficit with just 3 races remaining, 2 of which are today on the streets of St. Pete for the very first time. All right, and it's time for is there time, Justin, for Julien to close the gap here? Or is this championship kind of Liam's to lose? We don't want to jinx him, give him the old commentary jinx, but 38 points is an awfully big lead, but there's still time for Julien to act.
Yeah, here's the tough part about this. Unfortunately, there was a lap count set to the qualifying, which means instead of group qualifying, they were giving single qualifying here in the session, Gary. 67 laps is, I don't think you set that in 15 minutes, but these drivers do have a few minutes to be able to set their fastest times and get to work fast.
All right, we'll just roll with it. Apparently the rust is impacting more than just me today. Hey, well, then that gives me time to tell everybody. And as I'm being told, Mariani goes to the top here. As I'm being told that everything is just going south in the south today. But between CART and Champ Car and the Indy Racing League and the modern-day NTT IndyCar Series, they have raced at St. Pete in the real world 23 times. The first race was back in 2003. St. Pete has been an early season staple on the yearly IndyCar schedule every year since 2005. When CART did race here, Seb Bourdais has the track record with a 1:09. The Scott McLaughlin holds the IndyCar track record with a time of 59.4. They measured the track in a slightly different measurement between the two series. That's kind of the norm back in the day, although really we are using the stock measurement of 1.8 miles that iRacing is giving us today. So that's what we will be using for timing and scoring. The most career wins here at St. Pete, Elio Castroneves, believe it or not, has 3 wins here. And the rate that Alex Palou is going, he'll join him here in the next season or so. But Will Power, Seb Bourdais, Joseph Newgarden and Alex Palou each have 2. Now, there's an asterisk next to Joseph Newgarden, if you might remember, Justin. Remember, he had that win taken away from him. He had a win revoked by the stewards after the 2024 Push the Pass scandal. This also has a couple of numerous firsts happened here at St. Pete in IndyCar history. The first ever Indy Racing League road course race was here, and that was won by Dan Weldon. Graham Rahal won his very first IndyCar race here in 2008 and was the youngest ever IndyCar race winner at the time at 19 years old. And before that, the previous winner, or previous youngest, was Scott Dixon, just to tell you how long he's been in the business. And now Colton Herta, of course, holds that record. Speaking of Scott Dixon, he has never won here at St. Pete. And that's kind of hard to believe considering how many wins he has, second all-time in IndyCar history. And also the 2008 race was also very notable for being the first unified field IndyCar race between the kart and IndyCar fields being combined, or the Champ Car and IndyCar fields being combined for the very first time since September 10th, 1995, and their final race of that season at Laguna Seca. So a lot of history here at St. Pete, and it's good to have it on the service as we are still rocking qualifying here as Julien Altena is currently 13th in the order. We are looking at Liam O'Sullivan as his chief points that he's chasing. He is now second in the order. And the suave-sounding Jack James, man, he is putting himself up on the provisional pole right now instead of joining us in the booth. He's gone hinch duty here at St. Pete, but instead of driving the truck, he's got the IndyCar on the provisional pole with 9 minutes and 27 seconds remaining here to play, Justin.
Yeah, so far, not too bad so far for him, absolutely, on the racing surface as we go about. Keep in mind, you see with the graphics earlier, O'Sullivan trying to clinch himself an opportunity for Vegas to be in a prime position for the championship. Already second for the qualifying for 18 lappers here today. Seems to be in a very comfortable position. You can see he's keeping himself very smooth, especially when it comes to his approach into the third sector. This track, very tight, ever flowing when it comes to St. Petersburg. You have to be very careful on the throttle and be able to get yourself nicely through a lot of this racetrack without too many mistakes.
Yeah, once you get past turn 2, it really narrows up on this race course. Turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is like a concrete canyon. And one car off that bounces off the wall, blocks the track, is really going to put a major plug in the hose, so to speak. And that might actually bring out full course cautions in the event that something like that happens. I had a race here Thursday night in the Elite Racing League, and we had like 4 cautions in that particular race. We never have road course cautions, but we had 4 in the Elite Racing League, and that was a much bigger field. So we shall see how these guys are going to react, especially in a sprint race scenario when you don't have to come to pit road, but you have a very limited time on the racetrack to make your moves. And most everyone's going to be out there on these red softer sidewall tires. 18 laps, 32 miles for each one of these sprint races. But we'll talk about the first sprint race here. We're actually qualifying for the first sprint race here. But the second sprint race here, much like earlier in the season when we were at Road America, Justin, we're going to invert the field a little bit. So just because you win sprint race 1 doesn't guarantee yourself a good starting position for sprint race 2.
It absolutely doesn't. These races are going to go fast, so 25 minutes at the very most in the first place. There's not a lot of room for error in the first place for this. Mm-hmm. So if you can really get yourself into a spot where you don't have to deal with any traffic, you don't have to deal with any problems trying to make some passes, you're going to be in a very decent spot. But all these drivers are quite simply going to have to think, how are things going to go? Already heard some drivers, like Viola's had issues trying to get the controls to function here. You have Charpentier, who's amongst those with a qualifying ban for today. Mariani, after the good start, crashed his car immediately. So a lot of drivers are already having challenges just getting the laps down around here on their own. This is going to potentially be the tone for today for a lot of these competitors with the way things are shaping up.
Jack James with a 59.3, and believe it or not, that actually beats the existing track record here at the facility set by Scott McLaughlin with a time of 59.4. just a season ago in the real-world NTT IndyCar Series. So Jack James showing real-world pace here on the St. Pete Street Course.
It's been impressive. I think he might absolutely disrupt the ebbs and flows here, especially since always in the booth, not one of those we've seen on the track. Well, a lot of the drivers looking pretty solid for his session. Now inside the top 6, top 5, in fact, in your order, able to jump up a little bit more. But this type of a qualifying situation does mean these drivers have to work pretty quickly here. They can set a few laps, reset, set a few laps, reset, set a few laps, reset, because of the amount of laps they have in the session available. And that will be, for some of these drivers, a lot about trying to really play about how well you can attack on these tires to make sure you don't go past that optimal tire window limit and make sure you still maintain some pace. 101.1 last time by for O'Sullivan. That's 2 seconds off his mark at the 59 flats for the pole.
Let's talk about the points real quick since we have time to burn here. 5 minutes left still to play in qualifying. Liam O'Sullivan in today's event comes in as the points leader with a 38-point lead over Julien Altena. Julien, after winning Season 1 and Season 2 championships back-to-back, has had nothing but bad luck for the remainder of his VOR career. Of course, he is the VOR admin, so he kind of has a bigger picture on mind when he's running the series, but he would very much like to win the championship after a long drought. And really, for the last 7 seasons, the man has been on the podium. He just had unable to close the deal. Well, we'll see how he does here today. Third is Clindy, not in the lineup today. So that actually is going to open up a battle for third because Lal and Hunter Ingrave are just behind him by 4 points. And I don't think Hunter's in the lineup either. So Amon Lal might get the freebie step up as Liam O'Sullivan goes to the point, a 59-2 to the provisional pole with 4 minutes left to play. Amon Lal is going to step up into the third spot there on the podium. But we're looking like, and I guess it really matters how today unfolds at the end of these 2 sprint races. But really the way it looks like right now, at least to me, Justin, going into the finale on the final oval at Las Vegas, it's going to be a 2-horse battle at that race between O'Sullivan and Altena. But we're looking like a pretty good battle, albeit a distant battle for third, with Lal and Christensen and Clegg all involved in the battle for possibly the third step on the podium.
Yeah, it's going to be also interesting here, especially you have to give credit to BooklyDoo in terms of their sponsorship of this race today. BooklyDoo, after all, uses AI to create a personalized custom story with beautiful illustrations. 20 minutes. Visit BooklyDoo.com to learn more. Great to have them jump on a board for this race today, Gary.
Awesome. I use AI all the time. Not like for artwork. People can kind of tell for that type of stuff, but I definitely like it to talk to AI about kind of sanity checks when I'm trying to make sure my settings are right or something, or helping with code. It always picks up that rogue comma that you miss when you do your code in PowerShell code and that type of stuff. So AI, always good partner to help you out, but never rely on AI to do the work for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting concept in terms of the AI for children's books, let's just say that. But the BooklyDoo machine, F-Tink, looking pretty solid amongst the top 8 at least. He's the last car in the 59-second bracket. He's running out of time, though, to find something to be able to move up. Right now, he's already turned 8 laps. 59.7 gets him up a couple spots.
And it's a very colorful car that he has. Normally, we don't see. I don't think I've seen a Velocity Online Racing or Altena Autosports car that hasn't matched itself color-wise from front to back since kind of when I used to drive for the team. I used to kind of mix up my colors because we all looked alike, and I wanted to be at least a little bit different out there. But I like the look of the car with the orange rims and the orange front wing, aside from the cobalt blue that Julien kind of uses for his base livery, looking pretty sharp out there for this livery. Back when I used to drive for Altena Autosport in the old VOR team, we had a teammate, Robert, and he would always have bright pink rims, and that was kind of the only the parity that we had that with the colors. outside of mine. So it's good to see some of the return of the non-standard Altena Autosports colors on the grid. And F-Tink is now in 5th spot. Liam O'Sullivan is back to the pits with about a minute left here to play. Jack James still second. Julien is in 3rd. Vogelzang 4th. Then we got F-Tink in 5th, as mentioned. Lal 6th. Indy Kirkenbauer, the prodigy, making a road course appearance here. He's in 7th. John Christensen 8th. Strauss 9th. And Toby Deck in 10th. Less than a minute left to play here. Getting ready to go racing here soon, Justin. These guys have had definitely plenty of time with this extended qualifying to get used to the race course. They're definitely going to have the pace in mind when they start to take this green flag here for the first of 2 sprint races this afternoon.
Oh, a bit of a contact there to the wall to end off the qualifying session there for one driver, but it's going to be really intriguing in particular how do you feel the development of the passes will be, because in terms of real life, at least to me, this is one of those tracks where it's difficult to pass for the race lead. It might be tricky for these competitors when we get rolling in 10 seconds.
And on top of that, they're going to have an excessive amount of push to pass to the point that they might be able to use it every single lap on every single straightaway. So everyone's going to be on the button, and you're right, it's going to be very tough to pass. And I think, jokingly, I heard kind of coming into the conversation in the pre-race that coming into turn 1, it might be a little bit, turn 1 might turn into Calamity Corner. You never know with people trying to take that opportunity to pass, because the opportunities to pass are so few here. All right, we now have gone official. Let's get in today's starting lineup here from St. Pete. O'Sullivan on the pole with an existing real-world track record time of 59.2. James with a 59.3. Julien Altena lining up 3rd with a 59.4. Vogelzang with a 59.4 as well. Then we have F-Tink and Law on row 3. The prodigy Indy Kirkenbauer and Christensen, 99 and 44 on row 4. Then we go back to row 5, and Strauss and Toby Deck, the first 2 drivers in the 1-minute bracket. And to round out this field, we got Dufresne and Seigers back on row 6. Stock and Violas on row 7. Prime time, John Stellard and Ford in row 8. Miriani and Charpentier with the penalty to start today's race in row 9. And Santos round out the remainder of this 19-car field back in row 10. Are we ready to go racing, Justin? How are we feeling about this start?
Feeling really solid. I know in real life there's been some chaos in regards to the opening corner here when it comes to St. Pete, but I'm looking in particular, it's going to be a pretty interesting race for a lot of these drivers today. It's going to be interesting. The rain didn't even fall. Looking like it's going to stay nice and sunny for a race today. Now the question will be, how will these drivers battle it up the front for this 18-lap sprint?
Everybody on the alternate tires. I'm seeing a lot of dust being kicked up as we are coming around the final turns 13 and 14 to make way onto runway 25 and getting ready for takeoff for Sprint 1 of our 2-race sprint here at St. Petersburg. First time Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship on the streets of St. Pete. Green flag is out here at St. Pete. And it is Liam O'Sullivan, Jack James bringing us down to 1. And here comes F-Tink to the inside. We're going to go 3 wide going into turn 1.
Already, how about 4 wide? A little poke. Vogelzang forced up the racetrack. James. Yeah, James did not get a good run at all to start in the opening corner. Already to 4th.
And again, that might have been discretion is a better part of valor on his part, as he's trying to tiptoe through and not disrupt the points battle as someone that's coming in on a partial schedule. Kirkenbauer to the inside of the long lull.
Yeah, you see at this point, everyone's just getting in a choo-choo train, trying to immediately get into a rhythm. That's not a surprise here when it comes to this racetrack. Only one car, Charpentier, went on the primary. Everybody's on the red wall. Contact. That's the 99 running nearly into the back, and Blau bounced off the wall. Did not get wing damage, though, as everyone else stays in line. Already, O'Sullivan checking out.
And the 99 is Kirkenbauer, who is the Indy Next Oval Series champion from a season ago. He also is starting to learn and drive these IR18s a lot more. I know him more as an oval racer, but hanging tough right now in 6th in real world. He's a kart racer. So he definitely has a feel and experience on these road courses. Let's see if he can apply that today in the IR18 here in the sim. But out front, your points leader, Liam O'Sullivan, trying to pull away and put a little distance between himself and his chief points rival. Right behind him, Julien Altena in 2nd, F-Tink 3rd, James back to 4th, and Law in 5th.
Yeah, everybody, you can see some of them onto the button to try and play around, try and figure out if they can get some little boosts here. Lau in particular, trying to force the issue, just forced James to go higher. Lucky he didn't clip the tire barrier. That's how aggressive some of these sends can be. Turn 10 is a trouble spot for when it comes to some of the opportunities for sends. You'll see a lot of bottlenecks.
James missed the braking point, or got a little bit of a lockup in the corner. Caught the car, it got twitchy, but here comes Law to the inside on the start-finish line. He clears him and move Law up to 4th, but James unfortunately down 3 spots to start this race. At Julien Altena, purple lap that time by at 1:09.
Yeah, right now this is going to be some issues in the back. You see Charpentier and Mariani both went around with crashes, both with axle damage. They've both fallen off the pace and had to come down pit road. So now those drivers will have to reset for race 2. Their chances are done in race 1.
And a little bit of a built-in fast repair today, if you will. If you're not going to do well in race 1, you still have a shot to do well in race 2. There you go into the wall. Now he almost did. There's a join, and that's what happened there. But what happened was Carpentier. Almost what happened to Joseph Newgarden when he was here in the real world in that final corner. Monlaw, purple lap that time by in 1:05.
Yeah, but at this point, some of those drivers were really in a tough spot now, potentially for some of their points tallies on the day. Pettier in particular was trying to get himself higher up from 15th in the point standings after all, coming in today. That's going to be hurt now for those opportunities. Altena, for his measure, by the way, Amonso's doing well. Same for some of the others you see in the pack. Just maintaining a good spot. A lot of them playing around with the buttons at this point, like F-Tink, to find a way to close up the Altena Autosport machines. 1, 2, 3 look like they put in the preparation of the work to figure out where the threshold in particular is to be fast. And it seems this run up to the runway seems to be the most chaotic area for drivers to maintain grip.
Yeah, very slippery through that last turns 13 and 14. Reminder, at the end of this race, and it's only an 18-lap race, we do not expect any scheduled pit stops. If you do come to pit road, more than likely you are in trouble. Is that the grid 2 will, here it is, Julien to the outside. Inside is Liam defending as we're working our way through 5, 6, and 7. It gets very narrow through here. But if, let's say, Liam O'Sullivan wins this race, the best he can line up for, the best he can hope for when we grid up for race 2 is P10. Julien, if he comes home second, will be P9 as he's all over the attenuator looking for a bit of a run coming down to turn 10.
You see Altena really providing some pressure from behind. The tough part is he's got to deal with that Aero wash.
On the button.
Yeah, even in the nuts coming into the corner, you can see him just trying to dive it off the corner, though. It's a little bit of a sharper angle coming onto the front straightaway where the runway is, and that's going to cause a little bit of trouble to build up some of those runs with how much wheel you have to input in. Altena trying to change up the line to go a little bit wider on the arc, get some clean down on the nose for the entry.
Try to get a straighter line so he can grab that button if he needs to and get a little bit of a run now. Down the straight one more time, goes to the inside, shows the nose to his teammate, says, I'm here, and there, that's it. He was just showing the nose to invite a little bit of an error, and that's what happened as we come through 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, right now you see them all staying wheel to wheel at this point in the situation as they go. You can see them staying within a couple car lengths of each other still at this point. Already 12 laps to go coming up. That's how quick this race has gone so far. And really, this is the type of racetrack where clean air seems to be king. And O'Sullivan is still running decently 102 flats as we go about things at the front of the field. Lau now made it a team 1, 2, 3, 4, where they've all ran away from James, who is on an island compared to the rest of the field.
Hey, if you enjoy Velocity Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar Championship and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash the like button and click the bell so you don't miss out on future iRacing broadcasts. If you are just joining us, this is Race 1 of Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Season 15 of the VOR IndyCar Championship, coming to you from the streets of St. Pete for the inaugural running of the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. We've now completed, well, we're about 12 laps to go here in Race 1 of an 18-lap race, and it's a pretty good battle up at the front here. We got Liam O'Sullivan, who's commanded the lead since taking the lead at the start of this race, and then it's Julien, F-Tink, and Law, and second, third, and fourth, and they are all together, and it is an Altena Auto Sports train to lead the front pack. Jack James started third, following the fifth. He is the first of, I guess, best in class right now if you don't have VOR written on the side of your car. He currently is fifth in the order.
Yep, and we're really seeing that in particular here at this point. You can see at this point, F-Tink, I don't think there's any place to really poke about here. You see even having him lift off out of the corners at this point. So, really, I think it's just ride and bide your time, figure out if there's anything you can do, and go from there. Remember, there's an invert for the second race. That's going to make it a lot more challenging because some of the drivers in amongst the back have a pace difference of 2 seconds nearly. 1 second, in fact, for majority of the drivers at the front of the field.
And right now, if we were to end this race, Strauss and Christensen would start on the front row for race 2. So maybe they just want to stay put for the time being. It's all part of the plan, possibly, as Liam O'Sullivan pulls out to a 1.2 second lead now over this battle for second brewing between F-Tink and Altena. Looks like Altena got really close there about 2 laps ago, and now is, for some reason, maybe we missed contact, maybe there was netcode contact with the wall, maybe showing some damage as he takes a little bit of a fade to the inside of the fin there on F-Tink, but seems to be losing pace to Liam O'Sullivan right now at this point in the race.
Yeah, right now I think that's, again, just the issue with the traffic. But right now, part of that is going to be also them just trying to back up a little bit in terms of trying to let the car breathe, maybe try and reset the tires, try and get some life back into them and go from there. But right now the challenge is on to do that because once he gets close, puts more wear on the front tires, more heat on the front tires. It's going to make it a lot more difficult on those reds to go because these reds should stay within a very sizable optimal window by the time we finish 18 laps. But it's just a matter of the difference between what O'Sullivan's feeling and the others.
The next race for us here on the Velocity Online Racing channel will be next Saturday for Championship Saturday here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. As a week from now, we will crown a new season champion at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the third running of the VOR Las Vegas 400. Who will it be? Will it be the crafty team owner, series vet, and former series champion Julien Altena, or will the championship drought be extended yet another season as Liam O'Sullivan trumps his team boss? Join us for round 11 in Las Vegas next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Velocity Online Racing channel. And I got to believe this battle for second now is really warming up. Liam O'Sullivan off to a 1.7 second lead. But I got to think if F-Tink could somehow work his way around and get around team boss Julien, and he does not want to give up at that position. Remember, he's trying to keep pace in the points championship, and there will be points at the end of this race in about 9 laps from now. But Julien, if Julien gets past, I got to think F-Tink will probably pull away. It looks like Julien's holding up this group.
Yeah, you see at this point, Altena backing up, and you see just how much the backing up the corners is going to be. You already have a little bit of near impact. James, who is already a couple car lengths back, has already been going right to the bumper. And now it's the point you feel the pressure. Altena saying, you know what, I'm not going to let the draft come up and let this opportunity pop up for a pass. Not going to let even my teammates get a pass and freight train me here.
And playing defensively down the front straight. But Liam O'Sullivan's going to encounter lap traffic here very soon. Law's going to send it to the inside. He presents and F-Tink goes long into the braking zone.
Few drivers in practice had done that. Made mistakes going through the braking zone a couple times over. In fact, a couple drivers here in this situation. You see, just missed the corner. Had to go straight to avoid contact. Goes to the runoff area. Does a good job at least to flick spin it immediately.
I mean, I got to ask. I mean, it looked like Julien almost backed the braking zone up a little bit, and that caught maybe F-Tink off guard a little bit, and he had to take evasive maneuvers and had no choice but to go into the overrun area. But now this battle for second is now a three-car battle. It is Altena, Lal, and James, and much in the same way that we saw a lap ago. Lal all over the back end. The team boss, Julien Altena, 7 to go here at the line.
Yes, at this point, they just are going to be able to set things up at this point. You can see already that the gap is already gone. Just absolutely taking off. Altena yet again having issues on the corners. Lau trying to take advantage. She wants to go.
Get a wheel there. Oh, he has to back off.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit treacherous when it comes to this fight, to say the very least, Gary.
And James is just the interested party. He's like, I got nowhere to go, but I'm going to follow somebody through. And creeping into this picture is Vogelzang back in 5th. Let's not rule him out. We get a three-car battle here that all involves contact in the air. Are there anything that's going to slow their pace up? That's going to bring 5th into the picture here. Is Julien to the inside, down the front straight. A little bit of a weave to throw off Lal, but Lal does the right thing. I don't think Lal does the right thing, not follow him. Just runs to the outside, hits the push to pass, holds his line, and just maintains that momentum.
Yeah, right now you see Lau trying it again.
Now
he missed it.
Goes long into the braking zone. And just as I said, Jack James, interested party. And now there were 3, and now we're just down to 1.
Yeah, at this point, the mistakes are starting to pile up once again. And now James, in all this, seems to have the most aggressive opportunity. Going to back things up a little bit as a result of those mistakes. And again, people missing corners yet again on some of these sends.
And this is just music to, or not music to the ears, but just exactly what Liam O'Sullivan wants to see, as he is now about 5 laps away from getting a win here at St. Pete. Fade to the inside with Julien going to the 1, but Jack James keeps it there, and he's going to send it in the 1, and he has still room. Julien stays wide in the corner. Jack James with the run. Now it starts to siphon down and get narrow as we're back into the concrete can, into the streets, the back streets here of St. Pete. Lal now attacking. He goes to the outside. Jameson stays to the inside. Julien goes out to the wall, smacks the wall, pops the corner.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit tough again. Yet again, near contact. James, yet again, no place to go on the outside. Coming up to 4 laps to go. Altena has backed up the field 5 seconds here. Yet again, and our checkup, nothing to do for James.
Julien is driving a dump truck, and he has made the back of his car as wide as possible. He has survived over the course of the last 10 laps when he's kind of fallen off the pace of our leader, Liam O'Sullivan. Here we go, run down the front straight, and here's the weave yet again. Snake down the front straight. Julien defends to the inside. Jack James tries to go on the long ways around. On the outside, he's going to have a run. He gets a wheel there, but no. Julien shuts the door one more time as we come to turn 3, and now another run down the backstretch. Going into turn 4, are we going to get another opportunity for the pass, or we're going to lose another one of our chief combatants here in the turn 4 area? Almost. Jack James gets loose. Now he goes through 5, 6, and 7 as we come to 8 and 9, and another passing opportunity at the end of the long straight in the turn 10.
Nicely done in terms of the fight. Altena is doing a phenomenal job on defense at the very least, parking things back up. But I think something's going to give before the end of this race at this point. With how aggressive things are getting at this point, somebody's going to end up making a lunge at the rate we're going, and James trying to go for the lunge high side, didn't stick.
Tries to get a massive run, use that momentum to stay on the high side down this long straightaway. It does give him momentum enough to stay ahead of Lal, but he loses a little bit of space to Julien. And we got lap traffic just ahead of this battle that might play a little bit of a role. But 3 laps to go. Will they get there before the end of the race or not? I think they might catch it. Julien, well, he has really worn the good out of those red tires, and he is doing everything to hold off using years of experience in these Indy cars to make that car as wide as possible. But in front of him, lap traffic, including one car with damage on the front wing, and that is going to play a role here very quickly.
Yeah, we're really seeing that in particular with some of the drivers just trying to figure out what they're going to be able to do. It's going to be really interesting what we do for race 2 on some of the ability, on some of these sends here as we go about. Already, some of the drivers back here, like Violas, like Ford, they're not in contention for the invert at least, but they can at least figure out what they can do next time as some of these drivers really go.
Good job there by, I forget who that was. I think that might have been Seigers getting out of the way. But Callum Ford there, as Julien goes by Ford, he is missing a right front wing plug. Jack James sends it to the inside in turn 4 and gets the spot. And I think Julien might have been a little distracted. Julien back to the inside, gets the position back. Here comes a Law and Vogelsang into the picture. Just in front of them is Violas. We're going to have ourselves a massive pack up here as they're all battling for position, and they now settle it out. But Jack James briefly had the P2 position.
Running out of time to be able to sort things out. Violas trying to stay ahead of all these cars here. James right now trying to figure out, is there an opportunity to use any of these cars as a pick? Violas, if anything, takes away a passing chance.
Lull to the inside of James as they come off the corner. Drag race, just as Julien wants to see. Viola spins to the inside. Julien to the inside on the runway to defend. He goes in the 1. He's clear by about 2 car lengths over James and Lull, who's drag race in the 1, and they're still side by side. Now they get settled one in a single file. Last lap, Liam O'Sullivan very quietly 6.7 seconds up the road. He is looking at a sure bet win if he can just bring it home for another half a lap here at St. Pete.
Running out of time to sort things out quickly. I think James might have lost his opportunities to go for it now. Out of the clean space. I don't think he's going to be able to close. These drivers getting really close in terms of the walls here. O'Sullivan running away for victory.
Couple more turns left for O'Sullivan to go through and look at the checker flag on the runway. 2-5 for O'Sullivan. He gets an easy win. But we're looking at this battle through the final corner. Jack James power slides it through turns 13 and 14, and that's going to allow Law a shot to the inside and probably pick up the position for 3rd, and that is what he secures. And Julien with a heck of an effort. Definitely not on pace for much of the second half of that sprint, but he manages to hold off, critically holds off, and that might keep him still alive in the points championship for at least one more race.
What a finish. What an end with how things went there. Absolutely. It's going to be interesting what the second one does as we take a look at the unofficial race results. This field going to be flipped in a minute.
Liam O'Sullivan with the win. Altena second. Law third. Jack James in 4th. And poor Liam O'Sullivan, he's the points leader. He got the win. He did not get much TV time as we were watching that battle for second for much of this race. He is going to get the win, but very quietly that you saw with those results. That was where we had the rest of our commentary and our attention. And they definitely earned it. They drove a heck of the race. We're getting ready to line up and now invert this field. I don't know if we're going to have any interviews. We invert the top 8 now. Okay, if we're inverting.
Hello, denizens of VOR. I just fed Gary wrong information twice, and that's on me. Thank you very much. It's the grid being inverted. Thank you.
All right, we're doing 10. I'm pretty sure Julien told me during the week it's 10, and he put his like, I'm typing this to you because I don't want you to mess it up. But we still we still managed to do that somehow. But let's get in. We'll get a starting lineup here to tell you what the inverted field is going to be like as we reset. I don't think the grid graphic is going to work. So what I can do here is say it's going to start with Strauss and Christensen on row 1. F-Tink and Deck in row 3. And that's going to be really good for F-Tink because we saw his pace in race 1. He just made that one little mistake. And then because the sprint race is so short, just run out of time because you lost all that track position. So this might be a good omen for, excuse me, that's what I'm trying to say, for F-Tink. Right next to him, Toby Deck. Then Indy Kirkenbauer, who showed a lot of pace in that race. So we'll see how well Kirkenbauer does as he starts 5th. Vogelzang in 6th, Jack James 7th, Lal in 8th, Julien, by virtue of finishing 2nd, starts 9th in this second race, and Liam O'Sullivan has a little bit of a tough road to hoe of him. He has half the field he needs to pass. He is going to start 10th. Then we have everyone else that finished in their position in race 1. Stock, Dufresne, Stellard, Seigers, Ford, Violas, Charpentier, Muriani, and Lucas Santos looks like he might not be starting this particular race, or if he is, he's starting from pit road. But that is your field with the top 10 inverted from the finish of race 1. Getting ready to go green. It looks like the track state has returned back to a very dusty surface to at least start this one. Isaiah Strauss, who has been a bit of a time where he's a bit of a wind drought, here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. Starts up front. John Christensen, much the same way. He could use himself a win, and Roden F-Tink would love to get a win here, and they have the prime time starting positions to start here. Race 2, Justin, green flag getting ready to come out. Another 18 laps here at St. Pete.
So we're done off the launch this time. A bit of smoke and dust popping up. We're now into an evening skybox here on the sim. Around 5 p.m. Strauss going to have a difficult time with some of the drivers. F-Tink, go right slam to the wall.
Oh, and the track's getting blocked, and here's everybody into it. We told you this is what happened. Julien manages to squeak by, Liam O'Sullivan by, Jack James by, Kirkenbauer's by, and we are going caution.
Well, that's a rarity on iRacing to get the caution trigger with or without cautions off. Well, in that case, shouldn't be surprised. That was a track blocker and a half. Yeah, that is wild.
Replays there too. That was chaos, and we've seen that in real-world IndyCar racing right there in turns 2 and 3. It just the field's trying to get in single file lines for the street portions of this road course where it's not as wide as the main runway here in the airport area, and we just run out of room.
Yeah, just phase together with the glue. They crashed in the back as well. There were 2 different crashes there. And then a parking lot about half the field in it.
Christensen assuming the role of Mick Schumacher this week as he ends up in the air on top of another car. But watch this. And it happens right. Indy Kirkenbauer slips through, but it looked to be Toby Deck and F-Tink. And unfortunately, F-Tink, one of the fastest cars, it probably was going to be one of the fastest cars in this second race, one of the fastest cars in the first race, and he gets 0 return out of this weekend. Oh, big twitch by Deck. Under acceleration. Oh.
That's going to be absolutely destroying a lot of people's championship hopes for decent points finishes here. Christensen, I think, was in a decent spot amongst the top 6. Now, going to have to see where he settles on out. A lot of destroyed race cars. About this. And this is absolutely stunning here. This situation. Here's the look from the 83. Hit the curb the wrong way. That angled him back across the track, Gary, into the 44. To the field. Christensen, I think, is just going to be stunned there. He's just on top of cars here. Not much he can do in this spot other than...
Let's watch this. Let's watch the replay. We've seen them grab the curbs before, and that we saw the car do a bit of a lurch. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. He grabbed too much of the curb, makes the car just a little bit of a twitch, a little bit of a lift. And when you're at a football field, a second pace, even in the closed canyons of a street course, a little bit of a lift is just as well like hitting the brakes, and that's exactly what happened, and it blocked Possibly. I think that is the most narrow portion of the racetrack. If not, it's right off a turn. It's at 8, 9, and 10 area, or at 8, 9, and the exit up 9. It's pretty narrow through there as well. But one of the most narrow parts of the racetrack became block, and iRacing had no choice but for the AI to say, okay, let's throw a caution here.
Yep, at this point, it's really going to shake things up because the series obviously wasn't designed to have a road course caution, to say the very least here. You know how many cars are out of this race? We're down to 9 left. I think 10 with Vogelsang only having minor damage, maybe Stockton Stillard. Everybody else had to go on the tow truck. There was that much carnage and destruction from one incident. That is absolutely stunning.
That's what happens when it happens in the mid-pack, where we've seen it happen before in real IndyCar racing. Mainly it's happened at the rear of the pack. We saw that incident again with Mick Schumacher, Will Power, and Stingray Robb in the first race at St. Pete this season. And now we're back under caution. Lights are still on the pace car, so we're going to go at least another lap. And Matthias Strauss getting some freebies here of some laps led, but it's been a while for Matthias since he got his last win here in the series. Indy Kirkenbauer has now moved up to second, but he does have, there's another, no, Kirkenbauer, excuse me, is there. He's second in the order. I thought there might have been another car there. Jack James, he's up 4 spots, and he has worked his way to third. Amon Law up 4 spots, and Altena up 4 spots. But most of those 4 spots, Justin, are the result of what happened there in the concrete canyons.
Yeah, this is absolutely stunning in terms of what's going to happen here. And it's going to really change the approach for a lot of these cars here now, that you have a restart to deal with, first of all, and second, how a lot of these drivers are now going to have an opportunity to reset for another charge.
And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We do have championship implications. I just noticed this. I should have noticed it a little bit. Liam O'Sullivan sitting on pit road. He might be out and retired for this race. I thought he made it through the zone, but he must have picked up some damage on that incident, and that is going to retire the car that won race 1. And now, as I was talking, that Julien finishing second in race 1 might have survived to see another race on the championship. This might guarantee a championship battle going into Las Vegas a week from now.
Yeah, you see right here, I think he got through most of it. Trying to figure out where he would have got the damage out of that, maybe. Whatever it was towards the back, he got that originally there. Yeah, this is absolutely stunning here. It was one of the drivers that was able to drive their way through. Can't confirm. I think you have to look from the back end. He did get contact to the left rear of the wing. There's the crash at the back of the field. Yeah, right there's the contact for O'Sullivan. You see how the wings flared up a little bit? That basically broke the left rear on the suspension, and that's why he had to come down.
And that might have been contact with Law, and a little bit of an unfortunate fratricide between teammates happened right there. But I don't think Law had anywhere to go, or any way to avoid this. Watch this again. This is the earlier wreck. This is Nigel Stock. We're getting ready to go back to green. Pace car is, or the safety car, if you will, in this case, getting ready to lead the racetrack, putting the field under the command of Matthias Strauss, Indy Kirkenbauer, Jack James, Amon Law, and Julien Altena, your top 5. We're going to go green with 14 to go. An 18-lap race turns into a 14-lap race. And Indy Kirkenbauer, the prodigy, sends it to the inside, and he comes out on the other end as your new leader.
Already a chaotic one. You see James tried it on the outside. Strauss already pushed back with Kirkenbauer, really able to launch. Look at Altena, near contact with James.
James had contact, and they made contact right in the period of turn 5, 6, and 7, and now we're backwards. Viola's involved. I don't know how the best way for them to. Julien needs to get his car turned around. He just needs to wait for traffic to go on by, and that's going to probably end his chances for a win. Indy Kirkenbauer is missing a front wing. Not sure when that happened. Now Amon Law is going to be able to attack. We'll get the replays here going up. A little synchronized spinning. New leader, Amon Law, by the way. I'm not sure what happened to Kirkenbauer's front wing. We would maybe check replays for that. But he gets past. Amon Law, Purple Apple 102.5, but with a lot of chaos.
Just for the race lead, I think.
Oh,
wow.
Right into the Will Power wall there. And that takes out one of his wing planes. And he has to answer the meatball flag in 5 laps. So he will eventually give up that position to Matthias Strauss. And so the outcome of this race is entirely different now. Just 5 laps into this thing, Justin. First, everybody that finished on the podium in race 1, they're not in this one anymore. Race 2, we're looking at a whole new crew and possibly another winner this season that it's been a while since we've seen get a win.
Yeah, this is absolutely stunning again with how this has gone. Law has had 5 top 5s this season throughout the campaign, and his 7 starts. Going to be in a good spot for points. Strauss, one of his best races all season, to say the very least. What's been a bit of a rougher campaign for him, 12th in the battle with Epting. They are still having more people having to come down pit road. Fiola's lost part of the wing. Fiola's has now got a meatball. This is stacking up.
We got time. We got time to look at these replays. And then a little synchronized spinning here. Jack James. And a lot of extra contact there. Here comes Fiolis into the... He blindly just... Everything happens in front of him. Watch when he comes around the corner. Everyone's there. I've been there before. I feel his pain.
This has been chaos, calamity, corner, to say the least. Here we go on some sends. As some of the others try and make the charge. Altena, at least, able to pass by Mariani. The championship itself for the point standings, Gary, by the end of today is going to be on its head, because I don't think anyone expected this type of calamity, especially in the second race, that could really change things up for the complexion coming into Vegas. This is really going to be helpful for Altena to try and chip away some points back, to have an opportunity to battle at least for Vegas, so long as he doesn't throw in an entire barrier like he just about did.
At this point, he just needs to bring that car home and recover what he can of a... Now he's in a P6, and a lot can happen with the cars in front of him. Jaco Seigers in 4th didn't have the greatest race in race 1. He is obviously on a strategy to drive to survive. Nothing against Jaco, but you know, when you're trying to learn in a course, the best strategy now when you're kind of all by yourself is just bring it home over the next 10 laps. Nigel Stock already had some adventure, and Julien is actually now in range of attacking Stock to pick up another position and some critical points. We got the camera on Strauss, and Vogelzang is now in P2.
And Vogelzang, one of the drivers who had to come down pit road.
Julien now up to 5th, so some more critical points there. He might have time to run down Seigers. I'll check the gaps here on that one.
Yeah.
Julien 8 seconds, 10 laps.
Yep.
Possible. He might get close.
Someone hit the wall. Oh no! Stellard's in the wall. And just drove it into the side of... He just drove it into the side of a 78 machine.
And Indy Kirkenbauer in the wall. And Kirkenbauer, Stellard are teammates on the... it looks like Kirkenbauer into the same wall he hit that got damaged before. He just riding the wall, but I think we had 2 unrelated incidents here. Stellard comes in and puts it into the barrier, and then comes off and rejoins, and unfortunately puts it into the side of Dufresne.
I don't know what to really say on that other than car coming.
Rejoining is a skill on its own, and you know, when you don't have a lot of experience on road courses, or you're not watching that relative, sometimes you're not aware of other cars around you, and that's kind of what can happen. Yeah, Kirkenbauer was unrelated, but but I just happened to say that they happen to be team. Do you see it? Yep, there you see in the background there. So just a bad corner for the Votive Racing team. So this is a mercifully short race already, and we're just got to kind of soldier through here the next 8 laps. Amon Law with a pretty commanding now 3-second lead over Vogelsang, and Strauss in third. So this is a good time to remind you, if you're just joining us, you're watching race 2 of Velocity Online race coverage. This is round actually 9 and 10, but race 10 of 11 total rounds this season of the VOR IndyCar Championship, coming to you from the streets of St. Petersburg for the inaugural running of the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. This is race 2 of the 2-race sprint weekend. We're currently Amon Law leads. We have about 8 laps to go as he just clearing the line now. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you miss out on the next race. The next race for us for the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship is next week, April 11th, round 11, Championship Saturday of season 15 of the VOR IndyCar Championship. We will crown a new season champion at Las Vegas. It's going to come down between Julien Altena and Liam O'Sullivan. We will see what the damage is in the points at the end of this event. Coverage starts 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the 11th. It is all right here on the Velocity Online Racing channel. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Justin, we got to take a breath and step back here in this race. We're going to finish this one. It's mercifully going to be done here early here in about 7 laps. But Matthias Strauss is currently third. Vogelsang is in second, and Amon Law is in third. Law with 1 career win here in the series. Strauss with 1 win here in the series. Vogelsang, no wins here. So we're looking at somebody's going to be picking up at least if their first or second win here, if these 3 can bring it home over the course of these final 6 laps.
Which is easier said than done.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. With the way things are going. I mean, there's a chance of lap traffic, and that might not be a guarantee that it's going to be a clean run for Lau. I mean, as long as you steady the pace, I think you're okay. The running 101.9s Lau is at the moment. Honestly, if I'm him, I'm not too concerned about Vogelsang closing as long as he doesn't get a send on me. I'd almost try to make sure I don't reach lap traffic. There is a lot of space from that opportunity. Just take it to a pace that you can comfortably maintain, if not only allow a little chip away, because Vogelsang's going to have to use up his stuff a lot just to make a pass.
Vogelsang gets the win. He will get his first career win here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. The last first-time winner was earlier this season, Mason Mitchum at Kansas. Hunter Ingrave got a win at Gateway earlier this season. Fraser Clegg, that's a name we haven't talked about in a while. He started off the championship so hot and has kind of fallen off here. Clegg got the win at Mexico City. So we have 3 first-time winners this season. Could we see a 4th? But it has been a bit of a dry spell for Amon Law. It's been about a season and a half since he's been in victory lane last. And Vogelsang not letting this battle go out without a fight. He is now closed at less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, this is slowly chipping away, which is the risk of what the way Lau, if you follow that advice, was going to have. You know the gap's going to potentially go down here. My biggest concern in this, again, is quite simple. Will Vogelsang get a chance to make a move? Will he get alongside for a pass? And the answer so far for your race lead, like in real life has been so far, no, it's very hard to actually get next to somebody from when they have clean air compared to the dirty air. You see that difference right now in the close-up on the margin here, though, in terms of how it's been going down and down and down. Vogelsang's got the decent speed down, but the problem's going to be Can he actually make a pass once he gets within that half a second range, where that was where Altena seemed to really fall off after a couple laps of riding?
Monlaw got his maiden victory in the VOR IndyCar Championship a season ago at New Hampshire, and you can't get any more different when it comes to circuits. A flat 1 mile paper clip shaped oval, and then we have a 1.8 mile airport combo street course. You can't get any more different, but showing his versatility and now still leading. Vogelzang still has it down to under 2 seconds, but Vogelzang seems to have stalled out for at least a little bit, right around the 1.8 second gap area.
Yeah, right now Vogelzang's going to be very proud, I think, of the second race to be able to survive, get repairs done on the car.
He's looking a little closer now.
I don't know if he's going to get there at the way it's going, because he is chipping away second by second. If this was a 25-lap race, I think he'd be on the wing, if not in the dirty air wake. But right now, I think he would only have one chance for a pass coming to 2 laps to go. I don't think there's enough time just with this mileage of this track.
Down to 1.4 second. Remember, race 1 at Road America, that was Hunter Ingrave, Liam O'Sullivan, and Amon Law. Amon came in third in race 1. Race 2 was Julien, Amon Law, and Violent Vogelzang. So Vogelzang and Law in second races when it comes to sprint race weekends have a pretty good record this season. Both finished on the podium in race 2 at Road America, and they're right now lining up to be running for the win and at least a podium here in race 2 at St. Pete.
Now, this has, again, been the wildest race of the day in terms of absolute calamity and chaos. Absolutely. So, at this point for Lau, just keep it on clean, send it home. You're a lap away from getting a BooklyDoo and getting yourself a trophy.
White flag out. One more time through the course here. It is battle up front. Vogelzang on the push to pass. Gets it now to 1.2. Without giving the commentator jinx. This is Lau's race to lose at this point, as he is clear through turns 4 and 5 as Vogelzang continues to try to reel him in, get a little bit closer, might get it closer to the 1 second mark.
Yeah, at this point, Vogelzang just ran out of time. Quite simple. He had the pace late, even with all the repairs to cut through the field. But Lau, he was one of the drivers who survived the chaos. Going to very much capitalize on it as they pass by the odds.
One more time back onto the airport runway. Amon Law now looking for career win number 2. Milan Vogelzang for his best career finish here in this series at the line, and a merciful end to a very chaotic race 2 of St. Pete Sprint weekend. Your winner, Amon Law, Vogelzang in second, and Strauss. Well, Strauss has himself a good race, managed to stay ahead of all the calamity that happened behind him on the start.
Yeah, look at this. Altena had a spin already. Got 5th.
Julien gets the 4th, and that is very critical. Very critical. Strauss gets his best season finish in 3rd. Julien got the position by 48 hundredths of a second over Jaco.
That was probably the wildest race of the year by far. Right. All you can say is chaos abound in race 2 in the evening.
And here are, you saw the unofficial, we'll get the unofficial results here, but Amon Law with the win, Vogelzang in 2nd, Strauss in 3rd. Altena recovers the 4th, and that's very critical here as we're going to see here very soon where the points shake out. Jaco Seigers with the top 5. Then we got Stock, Muri, Ani, Fiolis, Christensen, and Dufresne with top 10s, and those are really just very good drive and survive efforts for those drivers right there. They should definitely pat themselves on the back by surviving this race and bringing them home. Then the remainder, we have Crooked Bauer, Stellards, Jack James, Liam O'Sullivan with the win in race 1, 14th in race 2, Roden F-Tink in 15th, Deck 16th, Ford 17th, Charpentier 18th, Lucas Santos in 19th. And that is your 19-car field here in race 2, round 10 of the season championship here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship.
And at this point, even Vogel's saying, let's take the opportunity to burn out and celebrate with the way things shaped up in this race. I mean, it's a second place run. Why not in his circumstance? But of course, the second race, the winner was also able to do the same.
Yeah, smoke him if you got him, Mylan. I mean, you earned it. I'm going to have to defer to our producer on terms of who. We're going to do top 3 of both races. So let's see who shows up. Top 3 for race 1, if I remember right, Liam O'Sullivan, Julien Altena, and Amon Lal. Amon Lal is going to be the 2-1 interview because he gets the 3rd place and a 1st place interview. We might bring him in last because he won race 2. So what we'll do is... Okay. And then I think Strauss. We'll bring in Matthias Strauss here first. Talk with Matthias and talk about... you want me to bring him into the channel or you want to bring him in? All right, I will bring him into the channel. And joining us here in the booth after a very chaotic race number 2 here, finishing 3rd here in race 2 is Matthias Strauss. And Matthias, it really had to help you that you managed to start up front and kind of ahead of all the calamity that happened at the start of race 2. And it just kind of allowed you to then settle into your own pace on the restart. And even though you lost the lead, you're still able to kind of do a drive to survive and get a pretty good finish. One of your best finishes of the year, and one of your best finishes since you got a win here in the series last time here at St. Pete. Talk about your podium finish here on race 2 and any other experiences you had, certainly as it relates to race 1. But certainly we want to hear about how it related for you for race 2, being that you finished on the podium.
I mean, to start race 2 up front really helped massively because of all the carnage that happened behind. I knew I didn't have the pace to win it, but I just tried to keep my nose clean and honestly the car clean and try to settle into a nice rhythm and just try to mostly stay out of the wall. I can't believe what just happened. I'm still shaking.
Go ahead, Justin.
So on that note here today, what was kind of your philosophy on how you approached, especially the chaos of race 2? Because that was the most chaotic race of the season, and it was to the point where even the sim said, you may have cautions off, but you're going to get one because the track's blocked.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought that Julien threw the yellow I mean, the admin's race control through the first yellow, but when they came on the radio and said this, it was by the game, it basically caught everyone by surprise. So, yeah, and it was just stay clean as much as possible and stay out of trouble.
Well, you managed to do that. Mission accomplished in race 2, and all really. I mean, the hardest part, I guess, of your work, other than kind of driving to survive, was getting yourself in a position to finish 9th or 10th in race 1, so you could start up front. Because I think starting up front of all that calamity in turns 2 and 3 on the start of race 2 certainly helped. A P3 here in race 2. And final road course race of the season. We're going to Louisville next, or Louisville, Las Vegas next. Gosh, I am all over the place, all over the Midwest. But get those shout outs in, Matthias. It has been a long season and it has been a while, but you got one win here in 82 starts, now 83 starts, but another podium after being a while. It should feel pretty good. So go ahead and shout out anybody you want to shout out here before we let you go.
Yeah, thank you. It's obviously our Team Watson Racing, our sponsors, our drivers, our teammates, especially Sebastian Kinder, who have helped me massively over the years. And of course to Julien, who runs the league, and of course to you guys who broadcasting this and making amazing show every week we race.
Well, congratulations on the P3. We will see you next week when we wrap up this season at Lost Wages.
Yep, thank you, boys.
All right. Never heard Lost Wages before, have you? Let's bring in Milan Vogelsang and have his impressions of this race. And bringing into the booth is Milan Vogelsang. Hey, we noticed that you really like race twos and sprint weekends. On the podium at Road America, on the podium here in race two. But definitely a big part of getting on the podium here was getting past all the calamity that happened in turns 2 and 3 on race 2. Talk about your point of view. What did you see, if you saw anything? And then talk about then settling into P2 and maybe trying to run down a Mont Lawn. You probably just kind of ran out of time, probably.
Yeah, so I came into turn 2 and I saw cars flying everywhere. And I was caught in it myself, so when the caution flew, it really saved my race because I caught up to the back of the pack with a clean car again. And after that, just had amazing pace and passed a whole lot of cars. And I was surprised how quick I drove to him on and almost caught him. But yeah, the laps were a few too short.
Go, Jason.
Yes, absolutely. And when it comes to this feeling, what's it kind of feeling like to be able to get the chance for a podium now with the second race in particular, get yourself an opportunity to race up at the front with the damage fixed even?
Yeah, I thought my race was done after turn 3. So when I got back in the race, I said to myself, okay, I have nothing to lose at this point, so full push and go as far as you can, see how far you can go. And it ended up being a P2 with a chance for the win, but Amand was just a bit too quick, so congrats to him also, and congrats to the other podium finishers for race 1 and race 2.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone wanted to say hi to on another road course podium finish this season before we head off to our final race of the season next week at Las Vegas.
Yeah, thanks to Toby for sticking around after his crash, for keeping me up to date with the gap to Amand, letting me know I was catching him in. That really motivated me.
Well, there you have it, Milan Vogelsang, a P2 in race 2. Like we said, likes those second races of sprint race weekends, a podium at Road America earlier in the season, and a podium here in our second sprint race weekend of the season here at St. Pete. Congrats. We will see you at the season finale a week from now in Vegas.
Yep, see you then.
All right. I think next we will bring in the boss man, Julien Altena, and we will bring him in right now. Joining us in the booth, Julien Altena. Whoa, what a race. Race 1 for you and race 2 for you. You managed to recover in race 2 to finish 4th there at the line. Very critical to minimize the damage. But race 1, it seemed like you ran out of steam. And at one point, the train was just forming behind you, and you made your car as wide as possible. I think the widest I've ever seen anyone make an IR18. And next to impossible to pass, and you held off an angry group of bees behind you to finish second somehow in race 2 and minimize the damage. You have just got the points in, and some damage has been done on the championship, but like I said, it has been minimized. You go from a 38-point deficit now to a 46, but it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, still updating points as we speak, Gary. But the first race I was actually running around damage for the last 2/3 of the race because Liam went deep into turn 4. I also went deep, but a little bit more than him, and with the dirty air, it kind of just washed out to the wall. So just unlucky circumstance, really, by both of our errors. And that was kind of the reason why my pace dropped off, because overall, throughout practice, I believe, pretty sure, looking at the lap times, I was quicker than Liam. So a bit disappointed to not win that one, to be honest. But yeah, it was nice recovery for sure. Really, the most exciting road course battle I think we've ever seen in this league. So especially on a street course, it was. I believe there was one bit of contact in that entire battle where I believe it was Jack that ran into me at some point because I was shutting the door and parking the car on the apex, and everyone was just really overwhelmed with where you are on track, because we were so focused and tense in that whole deal. Like, it was very easy to lose focus for just a split second there. So luckily it all worked out for all of us in that battle, and like you said, it was really entertaining and made my car as wide as I could. But yeah, race 2. I'll talk about race 2 as well. I had a suboptimal race there with contact in the twisty bits. So I'll just keep it at that. We talked about it, and it's fine. It happens. It's racing. It's just unfortunate, of course, but yeah, it was a nice recovery still, though.
Go ahead, Justin.
Absolutely here in terms of this. And of course, in terms of a race like this, what was the preparation like for a new track on the iRacing service like St. Pete?
Yeah, of course, you kind of know the track from TV, so you know where it goes, but where the bumps are, how to drive over them and everything, I think everyone figured out within the first couple of days, because it's a new track. It's a track many people wanted on the surface, so including myself, I've turned a good 50 laps or so in the first week when it came out to kind of learn where the track went and the bumps are and that kind of thing. So yeah, yesterday I showed up to practiced a bit with the man in the rain, and we were able to find a nice brake balance and everything to kind of get the details for the driving right, and I think that showed in the pace, especially in qualifying, but also the races as well. So yeah, the usual preparation for a road course kind of went into this because the foundation was laid a couple of weeks ago.
Well, Julien, shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. You have updated the points. It was 46. Now I think you just changed it to, I think it's 47, as you just amended the points there a little bit. Almost a full race lead for Liam going into the final race. So a bit of a miracle needs to occur in Vegas, but Vegas is the place of high gambles and miracles of happening. So we haven't ruled it out, and we have gone into that race before. I know as a team, second in the points championship and the team championship, and we won that on the other side, digging deep and having to get some good performances there. So it's not in the realm of possibility. I've known you've run there in the past before. So shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. I know you're looking forward to next round in Las Vegas, but it's going to take a little bit of a gamble and a miracle in a proper place in Las Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. Ovals are kind of my jam. I'm not that bad on road courses, but especially, what I do like to drive, and I think clearly shows in my motivation for practice and that kind of stuff. And in a way, results, even though I did win a road course race this season, but still, the results generally are better on the ovals, so it's kind of more my jam. So looking forward to that. Hopefully, I can make up a nice amount of points on Liam to the point where he doesn't start the race and I win the race to make it happen on the championship. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys. The team did a good job as always. Everyone prepared really well for this race, including John, and he got involved in a couple incidents as well. Definitely had more potential in it. So as a team, I think we did a good event. Just circumstance didn't really go our way for most of the team today. Which happens, it's racing, so we'll move on to the next one. I wanted to thank all the drivers that came out. A couple drivers DNF'd early and didn't return for race 2, I believe, but still, thank you anyway. I think the racing in race 1 was way better than race 2, I do have to admit. So I guess they picked a good one to do. Yeah, I want to thank BooklyDoo as well for sponsoring. It's exciting for us to finally have some sponsors and partners that we bring on board for this. So hopefully we can grow that relationship going forward. Beyond this race, should be there for the St. Pete race next season as well. So we'll just build on that and see where it ends up. But thank you to them, it's Rodin's family's business. So thanks to him and his dad for sponsoring and supporting the league. Yeah, I don't know if I said you guys already yet, but thank you guys for doing this. I mean, I know you're on my payroll technically, so you're kind of forced to do it by now. But
secrets out. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But Gary, I'll help you out here for a little bit. So for those wondering what BooklyDoo is, some people like it, some people don't like it. BooklyDoo is an AI company. They make children's books. You can check it out. The printing and everything is done manually. Manually with the help of a computer, of course, to print, but you get the idea. But the art and everything is made by AI. I've seen a few examples. It's actually not that bad. So really do check it out. It's pretty interesting to see where the world of AI is going. It's kind of a shame that all the money is going into the RAM and it makes my PC upgrade so expensive. I am actually quite excited for the future of AI. So if you would like to support Rodin and his family, make sure to check it out. BooklyDoo.com is the website link. So thank you guys.
The price of oil, price of gas, and the price of RAM. That is the most volatile thing on the market right now. Well, Julien, thank you very much.
Gold, man.
We will catch you in a week when we wrap up this campaign in Las Vegas.
Thank you. Absolutely.
That is Julien Altena. And sound like there's a little bit of disappointment there, but anything can happen in Vegas. Like we said, gambles and miracles happen all the time there. So maybe we see another one. Let's bring down Liam O'Sullivan. And here he is. He's probably the happiest guy other than Amon Law out of race 2. Managed to win race 1, which was pretty critical. Not a great race 2 because of the incident and calamity in the turns 2 and 3 there at the start of the race and caused an early retirement. But you were able to leave this weekend with a slightly bigger lead than you came into the weekend with, and a lot of it had to do with that win in race 1. And now you have virtually almost a full race lead going into the final race of the season. And we talked about this before. That looks like maybe you have one hand on the championship, and that definitely looks like there's one hand firmly on the championship, but it might be in a position now where it's kind of yours to win or lose going into this final race. And while race 2 didn't really make you feel good about heading into the final race of the season, still in a points battle, race 1 certainly made you feel pretty good to able to secure that win and make a little points gain on Julien out of this weekend.
Yeah, pretty well there, Gary. I mean, I'm obviously ecstatic with how to get through this sprint format is just chaotic, and I mean, yeah, it brings its fun and enjoyment. And I thought I'd got through in race 2 and was like, oh, I'm going to get a really good result here because half the field are dead. Like, I mean, while it's enjoyable, and I mean, it's nice to see some faces up the front. It's good to see that we're adapting it for next season a little, because I do think it's nice to have a difference from just a long road course race. But no, and it's got up to the point where, I mean, we saw the same thing in Road America where half the field got taken out by just someone not being very clever, and I think something similar has gone on here again. So yeah, I mean, championship-wise, I don't know whether I've mathematically won it. I think it's a 54-point lead I make it, which, if that's the case, I think I've got it. But no, I came in knowing that my drops were good, that I only needed one good race. Was not expecting to win the first race. I've literally just got back today, back to uni and access to my sim, so I'm more than happy. I mean, I went in deep on lap 5, I think it was, into turn 4 there, and Julien just slightly tapped me that gave him a bit of front wing damage, which inadvertently helped me to pull away after struggling for the pace. But it's such a difficult race to manage, button management, hybrid, push to pass. I just could not get on the buttons quick enough throughout the whole, which was sort of, then it has a knock-on effect with your driving style. Really trying to keep on top of a car around here, which made it incredibly difficult as you can be on the push to pass all the time. But no, couldn't have gone better. And look forward to Vegas where the pressure's off. I'm not going into Vegas for once chasing a championship or having to maintain or play the points game this season like I have had to do the rest of the season. I can go in and try and go for the win at a track I've historically never been very good at.
And as well, in terms of this type of a fight with the championship, again, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to that circumstance, but the pressure is definitely starting to potentially build up there. It's been a whirlwind for that. What was kind of the mindset going into today, and now how do you feel that mindset's been impacted with, especially the second race?
Yeah, I mean, Julien was under pressure anyway to get a top 3 because his drop was 18 points. I mean, the way I'm talking about it shows how much the points, and you look at this throughout the whole season and you have your checkboxes where it starts off with, right, start the season at Fontana. That's a track where anything can happen. Get through that, then get through Road America, and then get through this today. It's that same mindset that's put me in this position, I like to think. I mean, it's the similar that put me in the same position in the GIC Championship. But things went my way today, which didn't go my way in the previous sprint round in Road America that went in Julian's favour. So it all pans out about the same. But no, the pressure's definitely off. If I don't really know if there's any at all. I need to see the points as I worked it out. I think I have mathematically maybe just nicked it, but we'll have to see. But no, as you said, the pressure is completely just down for once, which feels good to lower the guard slightly going into the final round.
Well, we're going into the final round, and you are the leader with nearly a full race lead that gives you a lot of options on what to do in the final race of this season. Julien is in the position where we're going to Las Vegas. He has the gamble. You can actually play a little with house money if you like, but that is what Las Vegas is looking like for you here in a week. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors? We know mom and dad's probably out there watching. Go ahead and give them a shout-out. One win today, not a great second race, but most importantly, leaving here St. Pete as the points leader into the final race of the season.
Yeah, mum, dad, grandparents, as always, watching. They have done the whole season, big support, and I know they've enjoyed the broadcasts and the whole season as a whole, the broadcasts, and especially what Julian's trying to do here with the broadcasting over here. It seems to be going all in the right direction, which is encouraging to see, and hopefully we see that in grid numbers for next season. I mean, there's a lot of new guys and buzz back around VOR, I think, so hopefully the racing we can maintain that, which I think our first race today on general racing wise was better than anybody expected. Yeah, the team again, I mean, we had the front 4 there in the first race, and I mean, I'm really excited to get to May or so when all the Indy Open stuff starts, because I think it'll be a real good marker for where our team has improved to. Because again, it's not easy to have all the guys in that position, whether it's road course or oval, and we're consistently doing it. So look forward to May and more events to come and adventures new, such as Votive I'm trying to get back involved with. And yeah, all the sponsors that have supported this, Julien as a whole, like I said, for organising this and all the behind the scenes, whether that's the broadcast guys or initiatives like Alzheimer's Association that help support or continue to do and support our team the way that goes on.
And before we let you go, I see Julien playing a little psychological warfare. It says, Liam is going to go for the Triple Crown, by the way, if you could win Vegas. Apparently, the Triple Crown, as defined by this season, is California at 400 miles, Indianapolis at 500 miles, and Las Vegas at 400 miles. So a little psychological warfare. The Triple Crown is also on the line going into Las Vegas. So something else to maybe add to the resume and add a little extra pressure to the championship Saturday weekend when we get to Las Vegas. So we'll see you there. Never mind the Triple Crown, but we'll see how we secure this championship.
I'll add some psychological pressure by saying next season's schedule seems not as favourable towards me as this season.
Shots fired. Shots fired. All right, Liam, we'll see you at the championship Saturday next week.
Yep. Thanks, guys, as always.
And to finish up this long interview segment, of course, we did that the 2 sprint races and 2 different podiums. We will bring in Aman Lal. Aman loves these sprint weekends, finished on the podium in both races at Road America, finishes on the podium in both races here in St. Pete, and on top of that, breaks a long drought by the sea here, no less. from as a win a season ago at New Hampshire to get his second career win here today at St. Pete, adding himself to now the fraternity of drivers that have got more than one win here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. Aman Lal, congratulations on the win. Talk about race 1, talk about race 2. Kind of a different story in both races, kind of from your point of view, especially there with that drag race you had at the end to finish third in race 1. But race 2, you just were able to avoid all the calamity and drive away with it, even though Vogelzang kind of made a little bit of a race there at the end.
Yeah, in race 1, I think that three-way battle we had was probably some of the best racing I've ever been involved in. And I think Jack was saying the same thing as well because he was in the chat with us. And luckily at the end of that, I think he went wide in the last corner, and I managed to get him on the line for third place. And then second race, again, I think I got quite lucky because I was behind all of that carnage that was going on, and I just managed to find my way through without making any contact with anyone. And then, to the surprise of everyone, we had a safety car. And on that restart, I knew, because I had Jack in front of me with no damage, and I knew if I have to get past him as soon as possible. And as soon as it went green, I was on the push to pass and hybrid. And from there, I knew I could get up into first.
Double button combo to get the lead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, it seemed like a wild day for you. How would you describe the feel of this track in this car compared to some of the other circuits, especially since it's newer on iRacing now?
Yeah, I've done quite a few laps since it's come out, and for me, it's probably one of the most enjoyable tracks just to do laps on. Being up against the walls, you have to be so precise all the way around, and I think that's one of the most enjoyable aspects of it.
Well, Aman, very quietly getting win number 2. Sounds like you're pretty tired. It's probably late in your part of the world now, so let you celebrate this win. It has been a while, but now you're showing your versatility. You won on a 1-mile oval. Now you won on a temporary half airport, half in downtown street course. You can't get much different in the same car, no less, but you can't get much different in the way that these courses are. And you're showing the versatility by getting wins at both. Congratulations. Now your second win, first win this season. You're now third in the points, which really it sounds like there still might be a battle for third going into the final race of the season, but definitely in a position to get that bottom step of the podium and maybe make it a possible Altena Autosport sweep for the championship. You're going to be pretty happy. I imagine you got some people who want to shout out, so go right ahead. You earned them. Friends, family, sponsors, go right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to thank my family. I think they're watching. They've been watching the whole season as well. Thanks to Julien and you guys for organizing this and putting it together for us to be able to race. And yeah, I think they were saying Rodin's sponsoring the race today. So thanks for him as well, supporting the league. And yeah, looking forward to the next one.
All right, that's Aman Lal on the podium in race 1, winner in race 2, and as sprint races go this season, I think the only driver to finish on podiums of all 4 of them. So congratulations, and we will see you in a week for Championship Saturday in Las Vegas.
Yeah, thank you. See you next week.
Justin, final thoughts on today here. Just a hectic, really, race 1 was kind of, I want to say boring and by the book. The battle for the lead was kind of boring by the book after the incident between Julien and Liam occurred, and then it was a heck of a battle for second from there on out. Liam just kind of drove away with it. But a very chaotic race 2 that kind of turned into just, the worst case scenario for a lot of drivers. But we're out of the weekend. The final road course is done. Now we look forward to Championship Saturday next week at Las Vegas, where it's going to come down to between 2 drivers. One controls his own destiny. Another one needs a bit of a miracle in order for things to happen and to fall in his favor. It could be an interesting race next week as things occur, but definitely VOR, as always, Velocity Online Racing, making things interesting all the time. Today, interesting day. it's going to prove for maybe an interesting race at Vegas.
It definitely is, especially when it comes to a 400-miler. Absolutely. It's going to be a challenge for the competitors. It's going to make things all the more wild to see how things really square away. Really, the tone for today was very chaotic. It led to a wild day with a lot of unexpected situations, and I think that's just kind of the nature of sometimes St. Pete. You'll have those stack ups in 2 and 3. In real life, it happened in 2025. It happened here today, here in VOR.
Justin, thanks again for being with us. Good to work with you one more time, and we got another race to do after today. But let's give everyone back their Saturdays and get on it with the rest of the season. So that's it for today. Once again, your podiums for the inaugural running of the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg from the streets of St. Pete. Race 1, Liam O'Sullivan with the win, Julien Altena second, Amon Law in third. Race 2, Amon Law, Milan Vogelsang, and Matthias Strauss. Join us again next week for season 15 concludes as the teams and drivers try to end the season with a jackpot in Las Vegas for the third running of the VOR Las Vegas 400. Coverage starts approximately 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, as always, for the correct time in your area, you can find everything here at YouTube at youtube.com and just search Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support Velocity Online Racing channel with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of today's race. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like on the video. I love the comments in chat today. Someone says the fact that we have a driver called Indy and another driver with the last name Ford is amazing in an auto race here. And, you know, Chevrolet was a winner at Indianapolis. And more than just a winner, it was an actual name. So it's possible. You know, we could see those names here in iRacing as well. So thank you for participating there in chat, everybody. But help support us with the weekly grind. Let us know what you thought of today's race and enjoy us. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of Velocity Online Racing's iRacing coverage, including round 5 of the official 2026 iRacing Indy Next Series campaign from the streets of Long Beach, with coverage sponsored by coaching.co. Coverage starts at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe, on Saturday, April 18th. If you like IndyCar racing, and we know you do, if you joined us today and you want to watch the latest crop of up-and-coming open-wheel drivers on iRacing as they do battle for the inaugural iRacing Indy Next Championship, then it's all right here on the Velocity Online Racing channel, so don't miss it. That is on Saturday, April 18th. Today's inaugural running of the St. Pete Grand Prix is brought to you by BooklyDoo. BooklyDoo uses AI to create personalized custom stories with beautiful illustrations ready in minutes. Visit BooklyDoo.com. That's Bookly, BOOKLY, DOO.com to learn more today. To learn more about Velocity Online Racing and what they do, visit VelocityOnlineRacing.com. Like them on Facebook or follow them on X and Instagram. So, for the czar of the iRacing broadcast booth, the great Justin Prince, the General Howie Burrows, that did so well on the boards today, and everyone else here at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Gosso saying, happy Saturday. Thanks for watching. And all of our men and women serving in the military, especially those in the seas and the skies in the Middle East, and our astronauts going to the moon, and all the first responders out there, God bless. Godspeed. Come home safe. Catch us again right here next week for Championship Saturday at Sin City for the next race of the Velocity Online